The Greek Freak was too much in Milwaukee, but the Jazz, with a valiant effort and a lot of strong outings, fall to the Milwaukee Bucks. 113-99, and the game was much closer than that. We'll talk about it next on POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone, and really, Jazz fall tonight. They fell behind by 15. They just could not hit at all in the first quarter. Their shooting was horrific. They scored 13 points in the first quarter, but after that moment, I really thought they played pretty well tonight. I don't think there's a lot of I really don't think there's a lot of things that Will Hardy's going to go to the presser tonight and be disappointed, and they just didn't make shots early, and then they fought back all night.
What you mean by they played well from what they were able to put out there on the floor. And true enough, that first quarter was ugly because they couldn't make shots. But for the most part, their defense seemed to be working the way they wanted to work, And
I think so. Let's start there. Giannis has a big night, but what did they want to do defensively, and what were you impressed by?
Well, impressed because they didn't let Giannis just dominate the basketball game, and they were taking it out of his hands, making him make his teammates make plays. Giannis got his free throw line, and it was an ugly game, I thought, in that first quarter, but it wasn't one of those ball games where you could just see that the Jazz were going to lose this game because they could not cover the Milwaukee Bucks.
Jazz went 5 of 25 shooting in the first quarter. That's kind of the story. That's where the game probably got lost. But then, and they went 4 of 16 in the paint in the first half. So that they just, and that might be experience, talent, a lot of things. I mean, those items, and so that's where this game was lost, was the inability to score in the paint and finish, as well as just the early shooting in this game.
Yeah.
The 2-point shooting early, for most of the game, the Jazz 2-point shooting was worse than their 3-point shooting. And finally,
3 for 14 from the 3-point line in the first quarter, and 5 for 25 from the field. I mean, from the 2-point range. So just didn't make shots. And if you think about, were they good shots? For the most part, yes, because Ace Bailey was getting probably the same looks he got the other night. They just wasn't falling.
And then the 3-point shooting fell apart in the second half. I believe they were 3 of 21 3-point shooting in the second half. So just not a good shooting night. Cody 1 of 5, Flip 1 of 5 from 3, Ace 1 of 9, Keontae 2 of 8, Blake Hinson, who's been shooting it great, 2 of 7, Love 1 of 3, Conchar for 2, Harkless 1 for 4. Bryce was the only guy, which is great because he's been in a real shooting slump. I thought the Ace Bailey night was interesting to me, Ron. I'm not about to equate myself to an NBA player, but I've shared this story with friends before. Like, some of the best games I've ever called, the next night is one of my worst. I had it happen to me this year, actually, recently, where I called a game and everything felt just unbelievably great. And the next night, I don't know if you remember, but I literally was like, I cannot spit it out. I think sometimes in life, it's the same thing as golf. You shoot a 72. Well, okay, you shoot a 72. I shoot an 90, or shoot an 8. And then the next day you try to replicate what you did the day before instead of playing the game you're playing that day. I think that's what we saw from Ace today. Ace, I think, was playing the other night all over again a little bit and just seemed off tonight trying to replicate his season high.
And you also see that's the opposite sometimes. I mean, the point, it just carries over from one game to the next. You just on a hot streak where everything is going in and you're playing very, very well. We saw that this year with Keontae, where he was just on a streak, a 4 or 5 game streak where he was just doing everything correctly. The ball was going in the basket. Ace Bailey's 19 years old.
Yep. All right. Keontae shoots 4 of 17 tonight, so not one of his better outings.
No.
I was really impressed with Kyle Filipkowski tonight. I thought this was one of the better nights Kyle Filipkowski's had for the Jazz.
Yeah. I would totally agree with you, and strictly because of the way he was playing around the paint and assisting the basketball. His floor game, I'm trying to make this the way I'm thinking it, his floor game was overshadowed some of his mistakes that he was making out there, to put it that way. But 24 minutes, 34 minutes for the most part, and I think he played more minutes than anyone. No, it doesn't. Cody Williams, 37 minutes tonight. That's awesome.
So a bunch of times they gave Kyle the ball at the top of the circle, not at the 3-point line, and he was guarded by Portis. And like one time he just beat him. I mean, he just overpowered and beat him. Bobby Portis maybe slowing down. The next time he beat him again, but he threw a pass to the corner. Another time, those were both left-hand drives. He went with a right-hand drive pass to the corner. He went with a right-hand drive, tried to finish over Miles Turner. He didn't. I'm not expecting to score every single time. There was a time where he drove and scooped a pass underneath, I think, to Tshiebwe for a basket. I thought Kyle's offensive playmaking tonight was something that against Miles Turner, Bobby Portis, those are NBA centers. This is not him beating up on. I mean, the one thing I would say on Kyle, sometimes you have to kind of look like he dominated the G League. He's pretty good against Adam Bona again the other night. It was but Bobby Portis and Miles Turner, those are viable NBA starters that he matched up against pretty well tonight, and I thought he was impressive in that regard.
Yeah, he's looked awfully good. Again, I mean, there's not more I can add to that, but the fact that he seems to be getting better and better every basketball game. He seems to be very comfortable out there, and I know that he gets to the point where he's playing out of position, but if you play that position enough, you're eventually going to get better at it. And as I mentioned a little earlier, Will's been trying to put him in a position where he can't fail. I mean, where he can really improve. And if you got him catching the basketball on the move into the paint like they were doing on a number of occasions to where he can turn and make a decision very quickly, it works.
Time. Cody Williams had back-to-back career nights. We'll touch on that when we continue here on POSTCAST. Today's show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. FanDuel got this NBA or college basketball heating up for you and ready for you at FanDuel right now. Here's what's going on. The college basketball, the big games, the West Coast shootouts, all the action. So now FanDuel is a way for you to turn into bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your need. Mix spreads, totals, player props, and then apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Look at the odds, find out what you like, go safe, go bold, you decide. Ride with your team you've been following all season or find someone else. It's your parlay, your style now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Time now for our 5-hour energy draft. That's right, 5-hour energy. What flavor is your favorite one? The draft board is set. The flavors are ready. What's your number one pick in the 5-hour energy draft? 18 different flavors to choose from, all new options, all all-star potential. You've got all sorts of upcoming new things. Plus, you've got the confetti craze, fruity raspberry, cotton candy, if possible. You can circle back and find whichever one you think is your top contender. Maybe it's a little cotton candy with a swirl of sugary clouds and a fruity twist and a hint of vanilla, the sweet side of tasty caffeine, a throwback flavor. With all the boost, the confetti craze I mentioned, the blend of rich, buttery, freshly baked confetti cake, smooth vanilla frosting, and sparkly sweetness. It's all at 5hourenergy.com, or you can get it at 5 at Amazon. That's 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon. What is the number one pick of your 5-hour energy draft? And finally, today's show is brought to you by Indeed. Are you hiring right now? Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, one position you have still sitting open. Well, right now, Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. Here's a stat for you. In the minute, we'll talk about this. 27 hires were made on Indeed. So make sure you get your Indeed Sponsored Job, and we will give you a $75 sponsored job credit to help you get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. So spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is the job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Go to Indeed.com/podcast right now to support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is the job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. That's Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Cody Williams had a career-high assist the other night. Cody Williams had a career-high rebounds tonight. What do you think, Ron Boone?
I like what I saw tonight. I like how active he was for the most part. trying to crash the boards. And as you notice, when you crash the boards to make things happen, you come up with offensive rebounds there as well. He comes up with 4 offensive rebounds. But he had one of those nights where he was playing with a lot of confidence. Didn't shoot the basketball very well, but again, you look back at the guy's floor game and what he contribute to the teams other than scoring points, and he got it going tonight.
Oscar Tshiebwe got his second start of his NBA career. He is one of our all-time favorites. Everyone loves Oscar. This was a lot to ask for him.
Yeah, a lot to ask, because Oscar is 6'8".
Yeah,
6'9", doesn't play big. In other words, he doesn't get up and play up above the rim to the point where he's going to block shots. But he's not a bad scorer around the basket, but he just doesn't play big. And without having handles where he put the ball on the floor, maybe shoot some pull-up jumpers or something like that, then I was wondering whose kids those are. Those are Wesley Matthews' kids.
I don't think they are Wesley's, because Wesley only has an 8-year-old.
Oh, really?
So there's somebody else's kids.
Well, the one in the white shirt took a Giannis jersey off,
Oh.
and because he couldn't get it up to the rim.
Well, maybe they're Giannis's jerseys.
Must be
Maybe they're Giannis's
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought I thought Cody. My question though,
Yeah.
are we seeing him improve from game to game now?
Cody Williams.
Yeah. Because I think
probably.
going forward for the rest of the year, and if he's going to be getting the kind of minutes that I think that Will's going to give him, put him out there on the floor, then we need to see something similar to what we saw tonight, whether it's rebounding or it might be scoring the next time. It might be a defensive effort where he gets a lot of steals or something like that. But you need to see something different or better going forward.
Let's be honest about it. He's not going to shoot well this year. Like, he's not going to suddenly become a good shooter between now and the end of the season. That is going to be an off-season task. So what are all the things that don't involve shooting that he can do well between now and then? That's the lesson on him.
Number one thing, I think, is what Will thought the coaching staff thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year, was one of those defenders. Yeah. He has long arms. He has good foot speed. Just have to know how to position himself. Now, don't take the tendency to reach because you think you can come up with a steal, body control, staying in front of defenders, and then bother a shot, that kind of thing. Harkless is probably a different style of defender because he's going to belly up on you. He's going to get physical with you. He's going to keep you from turning the corner. I mean, to the point where he uses his body more. I don't think Cody needs to play that way. He just needs to be there and use his length.
Two final thoughts. The most important stretch of the game may have been Bryce Sensabaugh getting going. He came in the last 5 games shooting 30% from the floor, 24% from 3, but he got going tonight, which was great to see. You knew a good shooter would bring it back. And then the most important stretch of the game, though plus minus didn't show it, Jazz without Isaiah Collier had to play Cody at point guard, had to play Ace at point guard. Those were some rougher moments of the night. All right, Ron Boone's worried about the bus, so we're going to wrap up the show.
10-10.
I know. I already knew that.
Oh, you already knew that. Okay.
All right, 22 minutes till the bus.
Okay.
All right, Ron Boone, who are your
I have 3 tonight.
Okay.
I have 3, and we were just talking about Sensabaugh. I thought he did. Not only did he shoot the basketball well there, and it was 6 of 12. He came on strong in the fourth quarter. But trying to watch him rebound and those type of things, he comes up with 5 rebounds. So he was effective out there in 18 minutes. And then obviously the other 2 would be Cody and Filipkowski.
Like it. All right, 3 stars tonight. That is Postcast. We'll be back with you after the Jazz and the Warriors game on Monday night, and then the Knicks on Wednesday night. Hope you can come out to the arena and join us. If you do, bring your AirPods because we've got the noise-canceling headphones, ArenaCast. Inside the arena, you can listen to Ron and I during the broadcast via ArenaCast. So thanks. Stop by the booth. We'll give you all the details on it. Event Sound app is what you do. You download the Event Sound app, and you can listen to the broadcast plus the extra bonus content as well. Have a great night.